Hey, so today is Self-Injury Awareness Day, and I'd just like to make a quick video about my experience with self-harm. And I'm aware that I look and sound disgusting because I have flu. Self-Injury Awareness Day aims to break down common stereotypes surrounding self-harm and educate people about self-harm. And to start with, what is self-harm? Self-harm is when someone deliberately injures themselves. It's not only cutting. People can self-harm by burning, scratching, hair pulling, drinking excessive amounts of alcohol, taking drugs, etc. For anyone who does self-harm, you're not alone. I've been a self-harmer for 2 years, and I self-harm mostly on my left arm, here and here, and I have cut on my thighs before. It's a bit of a nightmare to cover my cuts with them being in such an obvious place. I've had to wear like hoodies during heat waves. I've had to wear bandages over my whole arm and pretend that like I fell off my bike. I may not look like a typical self-harmer, but I don't think you can tell if someone self-harms by the way they look. I'm not the typical emo kid. I really think that there should be more like consideration for those who self-harm, because I remember being accused of self-harming just because I wore black. And to be fair, looking aside the stereotypes, people who self-harm I thought was monsters. Like, I remember back to an argument where someone said along the lines of, if you don't want to hang out with someone depressing, then why are you friends with someone who slits her wrists? Talking about me. And as well as physical stereotypes, there's a mental stereotype too. A lot of people believe that people who self-harm are attention seeking. Personally, I started to self-harm because I felt like I couldn't cope any longer. I bottled things up and let things get worse, and the only way that I could really release all my anger and worries and stuff was through self-harm. Sometimes I can even feel perfectly fine and still self-harm because the habit and the urge of self-harm never goes away. I feel like you never, it can feel like you're never going to be able to stop, and that you're never going to get help, but I can promise you that it does get better. Despite that I haven't stopped completely, I have cut down a lot to what I used to self-harm. Despite my experience with CAMS not being a very positive one, I know there's people who've benefited from going, and obviously, like, if you really think you need help, then you can go and talk to someone. I can't thank my friends enough for being there for me during the 2 years that I've self-harmed, because although they haven't accepted, although not happy about me self-harming, they've always been there to support. I think that's it. My lungs are going to collapse, so I think I better stop talking. If you have any more questions about self-harm or like my experience with self-harm, leave them in the comments and I'll try and get back to you. And thanks for watching. Bye!